I'm not going to make up my mind on LeBron James or have a strong opinion on LeBron James based on one game. And you guys also want to get rid of Isaiah Thomas in Boston because Boston won last night. Let's bring in Reggie Aloysius Miller. Reg, part of the call last night. He'll have Game 4 Eastern Conference Finals tomorrow night. The Celtics and Cavs with Marv Albert and Chris Webber. Tip-off 8:30 Eastern on TNT. Reg, when did you realize something was up with LeBron?
We had a shot of him during warm-ups. And, you used the word uninspired. But when he was out there warming up and he had his headphones in, this is before, both teams actually took the floor, when he was there like 2.5 hours before. He just kept shaking his head because it didn't look like he could find any rhythm. And I think that kind of translated to the game. And it's funny because, you're right. People always judge you because, they say, what have you done for me lately? LeBron James has been fantastic in these playoffs. The guy has one bad game, and now they're ready to say, see, that's why he wasn't on the, the MVP list going to New York. One bad game does not translate what this man has done throughout his career and during these playoffs. Now, surely he'll bounce back in Game 4 and have a huge game, and then everyone will be patting him on his back, but you can't go by one game, especially in the playoffs. I agree with you. That loss is on LeBron James because his teammates, they showed up.
Yeah.
If you would have had any type of effort from LeBron James, they win Game 3.
But you also have people saying to me today, and this is, the reactionary sports society that we live in, all the Celtics are better off without Isaiah Thomas. I wouldn't sign him to a long-term contract. The Celtics, you have to give them credit with what they did. But it's one of those where you're kind of going out, nobody expects anything. They weren't dependent on anybody, and they played hard, and, they pick up the win. But why was Boston a different team without Isaiah Thomas?
Well, number one, they made shots, and when you make shots, you get confidence. And they really weren't able, the Cavs, to key in on one guy like they've been doing in the first two games with Isaiah. So you had Jay Crowder, you had Avery Bradley, you had Marcus Smart, who went crazy in that third quarter making those threes, and you had Al Horford all consistently making shots. And that makes you a dangerous team. And really the Cavs had not one guy from that Celtics team to really key on because each of those guys I just mentioned, and then you throw in Jerebko off the bench and Kelly Olynyk, all five of those guys made shots and made key moments for that Celtics win. So, look, the same thing what I just said about LeBron James is ridiculous for Isaiah because I think you need to build around Isaiah. I think he's worth every penny, whatever he's asking for a big long-term contract, but he needs players around him. And last night the players around him showed up in his absence to steal that Game 3 because it looked like it was going towards Games 1 and 2 the way the Cavs were making shots in that first half. But if you listen to some of the sound coming out of the huddle from Brad Stevens, he understood his team wasn't playing hard, and they started to play hard. And I said in that fourth quarter, the question is going to be, do they believe that they can beat the Boston Celtics? And that's when Marcus Smart made a couple threes, and they started to believe, and they found a way to win that ball game.
Yeah, I give Stevens a lot of credit because I don't, he knows that the odds are long that they could win this series, but he was trying to win a game. You can't win the series unless you win a game. And he was saying, look, if we play hard, we get to the fourth quarter, we have a chance to win this game. And you're thinking at the time, that's kind of cute. That's a college thing you would say if you're at Butler. Now you're trying to do that against the Cavs in Cleveland, and lo and behold, they listened to him. And it's a young team, and maybe it was more of a collegiate aspect, feel to it, that we're all in this, and let's, somehow we'll find a way to win.
Well, win or lose, especially for a young team, you're in the conference finals. Your best player is done for the series in Isaiah Thomas. And really, you're playing with house money right now because the pressure and the expectations are for the Cleveland Cavaliers, the defending champions, to move on to LeBron James' 7th straight NBA Finals. So you're playing with house money. So why not go out and play hard? Because the pressure really isn't on you, even though you're the number one seed. You've got this young team, and your best player is out with a hip injury. So I think everyone stepped up. I'm glad that he played Jerebko. You know, Jerebko is one of those players that kind of likes to muck it up. You saw him talking trash to just about every Cavs player last night, and they kind of dirtied the game a little bit.
Yeah.
But bottom line, they made shots. They made threes. And I said coming into the series, they had to be somewhat even or close to the Cavaliers in three-point field goals made, and they surpassed them. They got off to a slow start, but that third quarter was great in their ability to make threes. So they got their confidence going forward. Can they win another game? I don't know. Maybe this is a wake-up call for LeBron and the Cavs, but their confidence surely is back.
Talking to Reggie Miller, he's got Game 4 coming up tomorrow night from Cleveland, Eastern Conference Finals with Marv Albert and Chris Webber. Tip-off is at 8:30. Kevin Durant, part of an answer he had to a reporter was, and the reporter's saying, you know, these playoffs haven't been very entertaining, not very good, and, you know, Durant said, then don't watch them. And what's taken that we're just going to focus on, well, then don't watch them, you know, and Durant doesn't come off very well when it says, hey, just don't watch them. But it's not incumbent upon Durant to make this interesting. They're trying to make it not interesting and blow out people. I don't know if you saw that quote from Durant or not.
Well, that's the job of the players. If I had the opportunity to blow out my competition every single time I took the floor, I would take that route as well. You know, as a competitor, you don't want close games. That means you're doing your job. And because the Warriors have the firepower that they have, it's not their job to make games close for the viewers. Their job is to win ball games by as much as possible. So I'm sure it's a little frustration probably from that reporter's point of view because, you know, you want to see competitive games. But, you know, when you've got the best teams playing at a high level, which we've seen, you know, minus last night from the Cavaliers, you can't fault blowouts. You know, they're there to do their job. Their job is to win by as many points as possible.
We haven't seen anything yet from Golden State where they have one of those games like Cleveland had last night, where you go, oh, you just sort of let this thing slip away. You know, how is this just something that Cleveland still has in its DNA that, you know, they can still have one of these games? Out of these two teams, Golden State and Cleveland, is the feeling that Cleveland is more capable of doing this, obviously based off last night, when they get to the finals against one another?
Well, we've seen a couple of these games from the Cavaliers during the regular season. They were up 26 points at half versus the Atlanta Hawks and let a game slip away. Look, both teams have their faults. I think turnovers at times hurt the Golden State Warriors. I think they play too loose with the basketball, and they don't value possessions at times. But look, these two teams are clearly on a collision course towards one another. And I think, you know, there's so many storylines with each team, with the addition of Kevin Durant for the Golden State Warriors, it being a trilogy match, both teams having won championships. There's been subtle jabs and trash talk, you know, going back and forth. So, look, the storylines are there, but, look, there's still work to be done. You know, there was a misstep last night from the Cavaliers. You know, they were up by as many as 21, and give all the credit, as it should be, to the Boston Celtics for finding a way to win Game 3. And for the Warriors, they have one more, you know. And here's the thing for the Cavaliers. You have two more games left now where you risk a tweaked ankle, a hamstring. We saw, you know, Isaiah Thomas out for the rest of the series because of a hip injury. That's an extra game now you have to play where potentially someone can get hurt. And that's the problem. That's why you have to take care of business when it presents itself. Last night, a huge misstep for the Cavaliers.
Chris Webber was with us last week, and I said, who would he rather have on the floor, Kyle Korver or you? Right now.
Korver is really struggling from that three.
Well,
I just think he's not getting great looks.
Well, Webber said he would take you, Reg.
Oh, my goodness. Well, God bless. God bless you, Webb.
He said you're in better shape.
Well, I am in shape, but Korver has a better trigger finger right now. Right now. He just needs to get better looks because they need that. They need his shooting off the bench. and he's just taking some awful shots. He's just not getting any clean looks.
This thing, I brought this up when the All-NBA team came out, that this was supposed to be the anti-Kevin Durant rule, that this was going to benefit players and it was going to benefit the teams as well. They were going to be able to keep their players or offer them more money. But it feels like this has backfired now with Paul George
and Hayward.
And Brandon. Yeah, that now they're not going to get a max deal. So now there's not that big disparity here. So this is working against the teams and the so-called Kevin Durant rule, isn't it?
It's almost like you're penalizing the player because I've never been a big fan of leaving $30 million on the table in the hands of the media. Yeah. And, there's certain media out there that, they might have an axe to grind. So it's unfortunate, and you're right, because now it does look like it's going to backfire because as much as I don't want to see this, as much as it would hurt me to see Paul George leave Indiana, because that would be a crushing blow to a small market, and because he's one of the top 10 players in the league, I can't see that happening. But, man, you've got Magic Johnson and the Lakers on the line calling, saying you could resurrect. And he grew up in California being a huge Kobe Bryant fan. Mm-hmm. It would crush me. Seriously, it would crush me as a fan to see Paul George leave. But I could see it now.
And Gordon Hayward.
No way. If he would have made that team $210 million, there's no way he's going anywhere.
True.
But now, off-the-court money in Los Angeles as well, I could see it. I could see Hayward going to Boston.
What are you doing on your off day?
I might take the crew bowling. Now, these guys work really hard, the camera guys and the producers and directors. I'm going to take the guys bowling. We're going to go out and, check out Game 4 of the San Antonio Spurs at Golden State. We'll go bowling and have some fun here in good old Cleveland.
Yeah. All right. Do they like you?
And maybe go check out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Tell me three bands or artists that I should check out at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I think
Tell me three.
The John Lennon exhibit, now I don't know if it's still there, but the John Lennon exhibit that I saw, they had the glasses that he had on when he was shot. Like Yoko donated all of this stuff with John Lennon. That was pretty impressive there.
That's awesome. Number one, definitely. That's great. Two.
I think Elvis has some really cool, like the outfits that they wear are pretty cool. I don't know about the Michael Jackson one because I know that that's what you want to see. I don't remember seeing the Michael Jackson exhibit.
It's got to be there, though, right?
Yes.
You would think,
yeah.
You would think they would have an MJ exhibit there, correct?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What would you pay for Michael's glove?
Oh, my God. I do have a hat. I have one of those hats that he does in Billie Jean, so I do have one of those signed. So
did you buy that?
No, it was my retirement gift.
You got
when I retired from the Pacers.
Michael Jackson hat.
A Michael Jackson hat. And I look at it every day and touch it. It's in a glass, but I look at it every single day and think, I've got one of the greatest artifacts ever. Billie Jean is not. Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, I take that over like I have an MJ, Michael Jordan signed jersey. No, I got Michael Jackson is above that.
Okay, who's greater? Who had a greater career?
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? But I will say Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Started at 5. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Have fun. Enjoy the bowling there with the boys, and we'll be listening tomorrow night.
You are the best, Theodore, my Danette. You truly separate yourself.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.